Welcome, everybody, to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest-running sales training podcast in podcast history. My name is Bryan Neal. Bill? Hello? Bill? Bill? Where's Bill? Where's Bill? Hey, everybody. It's the Bryan Neal first ever solo episode, something you're going to see both a lot from me and Bill coming up. And this is our first one, my first one. And so I'm solo, flying solo. Bill handed the keys of the kingdom. So here I am with you in the first ever solo episode. So today is a little bit of get to know you, a little bit about Bryan Neal, but more importantly, Bill and I both have our own separate businesses, and mine has a funky name. So today's episode is about telling you a little bit about me and my firm, and also a little bit about what our firm does. Because you've been listening to the Advanced Selling Podcast, some of you for 17 and a half years. God bless you. You've been listening to us that long. God bless. I mean, literally. Thank you so much. Some of you just found us and you don't even know who the heck these guys are. It's amazing. Sometimes I'll give a speech or a talk and even be in my hometown of Indianapolis, Indiana. And someone will go, "Oh, you're in Indianapolis? I didn't even know you were here." So today's episode is about get to know the hosts a little bit. So I'll tell you a little bit again about me, about our firm, and a little bit about what we're doing, and specifically about one initiative that we've got at my firm that's really, really, really exciting to us. And then I'm going to follow that up with an episode that's going to tell you a little bit more detail that I think will be really helpful to you as you venture out into your sales life, and a place that I think the whole sales world is going, and it's actually getting away a little bit from training. So the first thing to know is that I've been doing sales training, sales coaching in some form or fashion since June 3rd of 1997. That's a long freaking time. And I was partners with Bill for Bill Caskey for a long period of time. Part of that time, 12-ish, 13 years, I was partners with Bill, and I spun out about 11 years ago and started my own firm, and was trying to think of a clever name. And I have this side hustle. Now, here's the first little thing to know. Now, some of you have been listening to a long time. You figured this out. If you'd Googled us, Google Bill Caskey, Google Bryan Neal, and my side hustle is easy to find. And I don't talk about it a lot, and you'll know why, because it's kind of, you can't really talk about it a lot, but it's findable. I not only have been doing sales coaching work for a long time, I have also been refereeing American football for a really long time. 36 years. I've been refereeing football for 36 years. I have refereed every level of football, from Pee Wee League to junior high to freshman to JV to high school to small college to mid-major college to the Big Ten, all the way up, including the National Football League. And I have been a referee in the National Football League for 11 years, heading into my 11th season. So as I broke away 11 years ago to start my own firm, I was trying to think of a way to put my brand story, a little bit about my refereeing job, into the brand. And I made a list of adjectives and names that they call NFL referees. So I made a list of the, blue, ump, ref, that sort of thing. But I made a list of the adjectives, and it was like a-hole, beep, beep, beep. I couldn't say any of them in a brand, but I got the, blind zebra. Okay, zebra, black and white stripes. We wear black and white stripes. Some of you are international. You don't realize that, but we wear black and white stripes. So they call us zebras, and they yell at you, blind zebra, you can't read. So that's how we got the name Blind Zebra. So my firm is called Blind Zebra. Our logo is a big BZ. So a bunch of people outside of the Advanced Selling Podcast actually call me BZ. They actually call me by name. They go, "Hey, BZ." It's like a noun. Some of them may not even know my name. So you now know me as BZ. So if you ever hit me up on LinkedIn and you call me BZ, then I know exactly what you're talking about. Our logo is yellow because we throw you little yellow flags. Isn't that clever? Fun, isn't it? We are based in Indianapolis, Indiana. We are a team, full-time and outsourced, of about 8 people. My wife, Stephanie, is our CEO. We are proudly a female-led organization. We've got a staff, sports staff, that does marketing and finance, controller, all the things you need inside, chief of staff, that sort of stuff. We've got a group that helps me with all of my instructional design and video and execution. We have certified coaches that come and pitch hit for me whenever I'm on the road and that sort of stuff. Um, and we just have a fantastic culture. Just love it. Um, we do keynote speaking. So I've been keynote speaking a lot. I talk actually a lot about my football life when I do keynote speaking, about more about my personal life actually, and my path to refereeing and how that all fits together. And then on the sales side, we have really three big offerings. So we run peer groups for VPs of sales. A lot of people that listening to the Advanced Selling Podcast didn't know that. You didn't know that we run peer groups for VPs of sales. You're like, I've been listening to Bryan and Bill for a long time. I didn't know Bryan ran peer groups. We actually have three peer groups, and we have about 60 VPs of sales between those three peer groups and growing. And those are like group therapy sessions for VPs of sales, because God knows the VPs of sales need a little group therapy, don't they? We run a real strict agenda. They meet once a month. We go down a 5-point agenda. They get a tool, some tool that I've created or stolen sometimes, but every month they get that. And then they have a process to help them lean on their peers for issues and things of that nature. And then, we lean on each other for support. So that's peer group. That's offering number one. Offering number two, we also do have a program for salespeople. Now, you've heard Bill talk about Bill's program, The Insider, is really great. A program he and I started, and he runs now on his own. He's got a great book we've talked about on the podcast. We also at Blaine Zebra have our own version of that. It's called Pro Clinic. It meets 2 times a month for about 45 minutes. In each of those meetings, we have a group that from all across the country that we use the first meeting of the month to install a new tool. So all of our stuff, all of our work is tool based. So we install a tool, and the second meeting of the month, we practice the tool. We think practicing is really, really important. And so we install, then we practice and make sure that we can implement the things that we learn. So that's an offering. But biggest thing I wanted to talk to you about is our newest program that we have at Blaine Zebra. And I want to tell you a little backstory here. We run on a system. Now, I've been part of a coaching program since I can remember. I was part of this thing called Vistage. Some of you may have heard that. I was in a program called Strategic Coach for a few years. I was in a Vistage group for 11, Strategic Coach for 2 years. And then about 3 years ago, we started to run on this system called EOS. That stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. It's based on a book called Traction. You can look that up. It's great. It's for businesses to run to make their business more efficient. We hired a person to help us implement the system who we're still with. His name is Justin. He's an awesome human being. And Justin takes us through this system and installs these tools to help Steph and I run Blind Zebra. And it has been lights out awesome. We have quadrupled the business in a very short period of time. We've taken our client base from 12 clients up to over 90. Our revenues have quadrupled, maintaining profit margins in the 25% range, all the good things, all the awesome things. As we're going through this, I'm sitting here going, wait a second, I've got this for salespeople. I have an operating system for salespeople. I just don't have it organized right. It's all on Word documents, on whiteboards, and in my head. And that's a travesty. That's a bad thing. We need to get it out and get it into people's hands in a way they can digest it. So about a year and a half ago, I went on a quest to create the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System. And that is what we have burnt the boats for. The Blind Zebra Sales Operating System is our future. So much so that we have decided with all of our clients, and we're hovering around 75-ish clients total now, we are trying to navigate everyone onto the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System. That's how bullish we are in this thing. So you think, what's the difference between training and coaching and an operating system? And so that's what I want you to talk to you about today is I want you to think about your own sales role, your own sales life, and think, what do I really have an operating system? And here's the big confusion point that I think people have. And that's what I want you thinking about in today's episode. You think you have an operating system, but what you really have is you have a sales process. And your sales process is just that. It's a sales process, but it is not an operating system. The operating system is the inside of the thing. It's the inside of the engine. It's the part of the car you can't see. The sales process is the outside of the car. It's the sizzle part. It's the part the customers all see very, very clearly. So most of your sales processes follow something like discovery, presentation, proposal, economics, budget, negotiation, close, onboarding, something similar to that, I'm sure, which is awesome. Everybody should have a process. But how do you get into the initial first discovery phase? How do you navigate the steps of the process? How do you end each meeting? How do you relegate timelines? How do you keep visibility and predictability within the CRM? How do you make sure your CRM is up to date? How do you make sure that the sales process runs efficiently? How do you navigate process when there are multiple people involved? You've got a sales process, but how do you do it when there's a bunch of people involved? And so our operating system that we've created, and we've created it over 25 years. All I've done the last year and a half is just document what's been working for all my clients for so long. Is that system, that operating system lays over that process, just like you put a brand new engine in a really cool car. It makes the thing freaking hum, absolutely hum, and it's awesome. So as you're sitting here listening to me, I want you thinking, man, do I have a systematic operating system? Do I have an operating system that if I checked, and here's how you check. Here's the kind of litmus test. If you open your calendar for the month, I want you to look at your calendar and see how many things you have that are repeatable and predictable that do things like start by filling the top of the funnel. So how much regular and regulated and detailed activity do you have around the top of the funnel? And I'm not talking about, oh, yeah, I make some calls here and then. I'm not, yeah, when I get some time, I'm not even talking about time blocking some prospecting stuff. I'm talking about figurative, really clear LinkedIn connector selling, business plan, productivity pod, like very, very strict regiment. Like I do these things just like if you were going to try to lose 30 pounds or run a mini marathon. If you were going to run 13.1 miles in a half marathon, you wouldn't just go out and run when you felt like it. You wouldn't just go, I think I'm going to run 4 today. If you're going to run a half a marathon, you have a training regimen that walks you all the way up to the race and it tells you exactly what to do. If you're going to fly an airplane, there's a checklist. Why do you have a checklist if you fly an airplane? You have a checklist when you fly an airplane so that you don't die. That's the only reason you have a checklist when you fly an airplane. I have my pilot's license. I got my pilot's license in 1997. The only reason you have a checklist is so you don't die. And you know what? Whether you have flown a plane for 2 hours, 2 flight hours, or you've flown a plane for 10,000 flight hours, you should use a checklist so you don't die. It's not an option to see if the flaps work. It's not an option to take off a 737 without the flaps. You have to, or the thing goes in the drink, meaning it crashes in the ocean. And so processes, operating systems, these things make sure that all systems are go and that things run efficiently and smoothly. And that's right. So operating system for you sales wise, look and see, do I have predictable people that run the Blind Zebra sales operating system? If you crack open their calendars, they have, and I'm going to give you one next episode. I'm actually give you one of our tools all the way out. These things are prescribed down to the day and the time. The thing I'm going to give you next time, I'm going to tell you to do something the last Thursday of every month from 4 to 4:30 p.m. local. That's how prescriptive this stuff is. And what happens is, because we're salespeople, without this stuff, we just kind of wing it. We go when we feel like it and that sort of stuff. Okay, so we are delivery-wise certifying coaches in the system. Now, here's the deal. People are like, oh, I'd love to get certified in something. And this is kind of cool. And it's the thing. This is a corporate certification. So this is not something that you as an individual can get certified for. It's a corporate deal. So if you're thinking this is kind of a cool thing, Bri, I'd love to learn about this. We need you to introduce us to your VP of sales and or your VP of sales enablement. That's what has to happen. This isn't a salesperson thing. Okay. I know most of your salespeople, and salespeople can get certified. When we certify people in a company, it's a corporate arrangement. So a company pays for certification. We make a minimum of 2 people become certified for some obvious reasons. If someone leaves the company or we've got coverage, and usually it's 3 or 4 people get certified. And in most cases, one of the people that get certified is a salesperson. So wouldn't that be cool if that was you or your company? So think about this. You might have 2 regional managers, a sales enablement director, and a high potential salesperson. 4 people at your company get certified. You're one of those people. You get a little badge on LinkedIn. More importantly, though, you get to learn how to leverage these Blind Zebra sales operating tools your whole life, and you get to teach them to others. And everything about this is scaled. So everything we bought a learning management system. So everything that we teach lives in a learning management system. We hired an instructional designer. So this thing is in a binder with step-by-step instructions. It's so funny for me to say that. I started my career at Procter and Gamble. When you went to training at Procter and Gamble, we had a ton of acronyms. You would go to training and you would get an AFTRB. You know what an AFTRB is? An AFTRB at training at Procter and Gamble was another freaking 3-ring binder. And when you got done with training, you went home and you took that another freaking 3-ring binder and you stuck it up on the shelf with the other freaking 3-ring binders that you never, ever, ever looked at the rest of your life. And then you dumped them all in the trash when you left or turned them in or did whatever you did with them. And I swore when I got into sales coaching business, 1997, I'm never doing an AFTRB. No way. I'm just going to do Word documents and I'll let people take notes on their own. They're big kids. They can do it. Well, look at B. Neal now. Full circle. I got a 92-page AFTRB. But you know what? That's what we need. That's what we need. We need the step-by-step. Not only is it in a binder, it's got an operating guide to it. So the coaches that we certify, we call them operations coaches, OCs. So everything is football themed. If you're not a football person, that's okay. OCs is a football term. And it tells you exactly how to install the tool. Literally 2 meetings a month, you install the tool, boom, you do a install, a walkthrough, half speed, full speed, the second meeting. Everything is step by step. Videos to support you, videos of me teaching in the LMS are there. Documents are in there. And then we do a live session for all the OCs, and we do a live session for all of the salespeople who we call players in the operating system. See that? All football themed. All the players have their own call. So far, after this next round of certification in the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System, we're going to have 11 certified OCs. Those are the coaches, and we're going to have 130 players. So you're going to be on this. And get this, this is fun too. We're going to bring them all to Indianapolis in September. It's like we're creating this big community, and we're going to have community satellite meetings, live meetings out in markets. So we got like a liaison person in Atlanta, liaison person in Baltimore, liaison person in Chicago. So we're creating this community across the country. So I wanted to get this to you since you're Advanced Selling podcast listeners. You don't even know, like, what does Bryan even do for a living? I know he kind of referees every once in a while. Well, we do Blind Zebra, and we do the Blind Zebra Sales Operating System. And if you don't have an operating system, I'm telling you, you need one. Because once you have one, you as a salesperson, your life, it never gets easy. Sales never gets easy. But when you install these tools that we teach you, your life, your sales life gets so much easier. It's easier. It's easier than it's ever been. People get off your tail. I promise you, if you use this operating system, you don't have to think anymore. Everything just gets done for you. It's so easy to use. It's so easy, which I love this. One of the guys that got certified, his name is Dan. He's been in sales leadership and medical business for a long time. He was in the OG class, the certification class. He got certified last December, and it's April right now. He goes, hey, Bryan, take this the right way, please. I'm like, yeah, what? He goes, this is like really common sense. I'm like, yeah, I don't take that the wrong way. I take that the right way. He goes, but nobody does it. I'm like, ding, ding, nobody does it. It's common sense stuff that nobody does. And that's what it is. And you'll see, and we'll talk about this later, and I'm going to share more with you, our listeners, about the system and share tools with you down the road. I'll get into some of the details of it. I'll give you even some of the tools, but an operating system that has a dove factor that's easy to implement, easy to understand, it has instant value to you. The tools are ordered in instant value format where you just the very first one that we teach you, it's like instant. It's the very it's the one I'm not going to teach you that one. Okay, I'll tell you. I can't help myself. I'm getting tight on time here, but first tool we teach, everything is ordered in terms of like highest value first too. So, a lot of systems, there's a foundation and we do training and coaching, we foundation, we do the thing, then we learn the 30-second commercial, then we do this, then it blows and it takes forever to get value from it. We teach a thing right out of the gate. The second tool, the third tool, technically the third tool you use, the third thing you learn, second tool, third thing you learn, it's really quick. Fixes ghosting. It's instant appointments. I'm telling you, I can teach it to you in 15 minutes. You apply it to 10 deals that you've got stuck or stalled. I guarantee you, you send out to 10 people, you're going to get 5 appointments booked, guaranteed. Okay. And it just keeps getting better from there. And so we ordered the thing that way. So you get quick, high value from an operating system that works. That's why we did this. So it gets way far away from training and coaching. And that's what the operating system is all about. So now you know a little bit about B. Neal, a little more than you knew. Now you know a little bit about Blind Zebra. So you need to go check us out, Blind-Zebra. Here's the deal. Go to the website. Got to put the dash in there. Otherwise, you're going to wind up at a sports bar in Tennessee's website. And the guy gets really pissed when people like us come on. I think he's out of business. I think COVID shut him down. Blind-Zebra. You'll hear about the Blind Zebra operating system. If you're interested at all in becoming certified, you got to bring your VP of sales with. Do not call me and set up a call and you're an AE or a salesperson like, I'd like to learn some more. Do not do that. Don't do it, okay? Do us all a favor. Do you a favor, me a favor, Steph, our CEO a favor, our Skip, our VP of market, do us all a favor. Just get the 3-4-headed call, get everybody on the phone. You know how this rolls. We're going to work through a process just like we teach you. Share what it's all about, all this stuff. And then we'll talk about what being certified looks like. But man, it's cool stuff, okay? Next episode, next B. Neal episode, I'm going to teach you one of the tools. I'm going to talk about the attributes of a great operating system so you can start to think about what elements of an operating system you have and is what you have in front of you already, what you do, can it fit, does it fit right now? Okay, so that's it. I will see you next time. Cheers.